Hello, and welcome to another episode of Boxing TV. We bring the fighters to the fans. Coming up on today's show, boxing legend, former world champion, Larry Holmes. Stay tuned. A massive, huge welcome to absolute boxing royalty. And I've just said to him, if I could have even imagined years ago when I started this journey to speak with a legend such as Larry Holmes, I would have never believed it. What a story, what a fighter. Someone who for me is in the history, well, he's definitely in the history books, one of the best heavyweight fighters of all time, Mr. Larry Holmes. Larry, how are you doing?
Fine, I'm doing fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It really is to bring you onto the show. So, everyone knows who you are. I don't even need to introduce you. You are that good of a fighter. You had an incredible career of 69 wins and 6 losses. A lot of them losses come at the tail end of your career. Incredible, and I can't wait to ask you the questions that we've got for you today. So what we like to do, a little bit different, Larry. We don't like to just bore you. We literally like to learn a little bit about you and your career and really understand and inspire the kids out there who are coming through the ranks. So what got you into boxing then, Larry?
Well, something to do. We had nothing to do but play in the streets, hang in the streets, and this guy named Ernie Butler came up and said, "I can make you guys fighters." And everybody said, "Oh, I ain't gonna be no fighter. You get hit in the face and everything." And I said, "Well, I tried, and I tried it, and I liked it."
You were pretty good at it too, Larry.
Yeah, yeah. I got to be real good because I learned from Muhammad Ali with the jab, so throw the jab, but he didn't throw it like I throw it. I throw it hard.
Yeah.
And personality. You learn all that stuff out here that you want to do. You want to be like somebody, and who you want to be like. I want to be like Muhammad Ali. I want people to know me when I walk the streets. I want people to say hi, how you doing? When your next fight. And I says, the only one I can get that from is the guy named Muhammad Ali. Man. I copied him. So I stole from him, so don't hold that against me.
I'm not holding anything against you. Oh, wow. I can see some of the things in the background there, some of the plaques, and it's you when you were younger. What are they in the background?
Yeah, a lot of that is, working with Muhammad Ali and, Joe Frazier, and it was just great. I had great moments with these pictures and stuff on the wall because they're my history.
Yeah, you got a legacy, haven't you? A real legacy.
Yeah, when they tell me that I can't box like Muhammad Ali, I said, "Come to my house. I show them all myself."
Yeah, I'll show you. Brilliant. So tell us a little bit about your life growing up, because I know a lot about your time with, which we will get to, but a lot about your time with Ali and Frazier and everything there. But what were you like as a child? Tell us about your life growing up.
I was a kid that played sports. I played football, basketball. I did everything I can do in school. But school runs out, and then you want to do something else. And what else was left? Nothing but boxing. And so, a lot of people say you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get knocked out, you're gonna be crazy, and everything. I said, well, if I don't try, I never know. So I'm gonna give it a shot, and that's what I did. Straight all the way through. I fought everybody and anybody they told me to fight. I fought them and I beat them, and I was surprised myself sometimes.
Did you? Oh, well, I honestly, that jab of yours. I mean, oh, wow, what a thing of beauty! It really, really was. So as far as your amateur career, then, so obviously you've started from a young age. Tell us a little bit about your amateur career.
My amateur was good. I think 22 amateur fights and stuff like that, and I won all of them except for like 2. Nick Wells and Dwayne Bobbitt beat me, and I didn't really care about those guys. I just wanted to do it because I knew they couldn't fight, and they used that political. It was political when they did win. So I just went on by myself, about my business, and did it myself. And here I
Brilliant.
am.
There you are. It's a pleasure to have you. So you turned professional at 24 years of
Mm-hmm.
age, and then was a sparring partner for,
Ali.
again, legends, yeah,
Yeah.
absolute legends of the sport, Mr. Muhammad Ali and Joe
Mm-hmm.
Frazier, which is, I mean, could you
Yeah.
ask for better education? Realistically, I
No.
mean, that was like one thing I want to ask you though is what was it like, learning the ropes from such, royalty of boxing?
Well, they didn't teach me. They didn't stop and say, "Well, do this, Larry, do this."
Yeah.
I had to learn that on my own while they were throwing punches at me, you know. With Joe Frazier, he was trying to knock me out every day. He was paying me, and I said, "Man, what are you trying to kill me for?" He said, "That's the only way you're gonna learn, boy. That's the only way you're gonna learn." Ali the same thing. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. I'll beat you. You ain't got nothing on me, boy. Come on, boy. You know. And they did that, and I hung in
Okay.
there with them for all the. Matter of fact, I hung in there with Ali for 5 years. 5 years as a sparring partner. So
Wow.
it was great though. I had fun. I enjoyed doing what I was doing.
It's incredible. So Muhammad Ali, I will speak about him and your relationship a bit later. But what was he like in the gym? Was he as flamboyant? Was he as, I'm the greatest? Was he all like that in the gym and sparring, or was he a
Yeah,
little bit more,
no,
reserved?
it's crazy, just like that. He's I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. You can't whoop me, boy. Come on, boy. Come on, give me it. Show me something.
Yeah.
Here it is. Hit me. Go ahead. Show me something. And then he would put a lot of punches together to try to knock you out. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the poems. I enjoyed everything, man. He made poems, and I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You can't beat me, boy. Come on, boy. It was great. I had a
Amazing.
great journey with them guys.
That's awesome. I would have thought at stages of your career that maybe it would have been quite frustrating. I mean, you've got two absolute legends, including you now, but two absolute legends of the sport at that time, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. The
Mhm.
pinnacle of heavyweight boxing. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
What? How frustrating for you was it to kind of almost be in their shadow, and how hard was it to turn yourself into one of the best fighters of all time, Larry Holmes?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoy getting punched in the eye. When I first started working with Ali, he gave me a black eye.
Okay.
What do you think I did? I didn't want no ice. They wanted to put ice on it. I said, no, I want to show this up. I'm going to go home, tell
Yeah.
everybody Muhammad Ali hit me in the eye. This is my black eye.
Wow.
But you know what? It was good. We had a good time, man. And he would try to beat me up, but I sustained that, and I hit back. I fought back, and that's the one part he liked about me, being able to take it and throw punches back, and that's how he would get a bit better taking the punches from me.
So you learned in the ring sparring then, really? Would you say that's
Yeah.
where you learned the most? Fantastic, fantastic. So your relationship with Muhammad Ali. So tell us a little bit about that, because something I don't know. I know you thought a lot of him, and still do. But tell us a little bit about your relationship between God, two absolute legends.
Well, I had fun. I had fun working with Ali because he was, like when he had to make an appearance and stuff like that, I would go with him. He would take me with him, and I learned from that. Learn how to talk. Learn about the butterfly, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I learned all that. Joe Frazier with the Smoking Joe. Smoking Joe. You got to get to just Smoking Joe if you want to get to the big man, and all that. And it just, it was nice, man. It was nice. I didn't mind taking a punch. People said I was crazy because I got hit. I said I got hit by the best fighters in the world, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
I mean, that's just invaluable experience, isn't it? I mean, do
Yeah,
you still think to this day that that was the reason you were so great?
yeah, because I tell you what, if you drop your hand, Ali gonna hit you. If you drop your hand, Joe Frazier gonna hit you. And that's one of my great moments that I had remembering it. And then they come to my house. They come up to my house, and and make me big,
Yeah,
Larry Holmes. Oh, he got Joe Frazier up there. He got Muhammad Ali up there. It was great, man.
yeah.
To have that, to have the right to say that you had your friends at your house.
So
So,
you almost liked being in the spotlight because you had
yes,
so much sun from
yeah,
these guys. I can
yeah,
understand that. Yeah, I can
yeah.
understand that. Can I ask you a question? It's something I've never asked anyone before. I don't think there's anyone to ask really, but
Mhm.
a lot of people out there like to say that Muhammad Ali wasn't necessarily a big puncher. I completely disagree with that. I think he was, and he stopped some good kids. Being in there sparring with him, how big a puncher was he?
He would, you know what? He would punch you. He would hit you. He would knock you out. See, he never can knock nobody out with one punch. Bang.
Yeah,
Like Joe Frazier can do. Bang. Ali will put them together, beat you up. He would make you follow him around the ring.
yeah.
He throwing that jab, that jab, that jab, that right, that jab, 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 that right hand. He beat you up like that. That's the way he did it.
Tell us about a time and a story that of you and Muhammad Ali that maybe that we've never heard before. Tell us about a story that maybe sticks in your head.
I was like, I lived about 50 miles from the camp, Deer Lake. That's where his camp was. And I used to drive up there every day, just to box with Ali or just to sit and watch him. I used to do that. And he took a liking to me, you
Okay.
know. He called me Peanut, because my head is shaped like a peanut. So he called me Peanut. And he was telling me how bad he was. Bad. He should say that. I used to think he was crazy because he was saying, I'm bad. I'm bad. You can't beat that good. They can't beat me. I'm the greatest. Oh,
Wow.
I'm the greatest. And I look at him like, is this guy going crazy? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And he's talking to himself. He's talking to me, I said, wow, you were the greatest champ. You were the greatest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as far as kind of you fought Ali, didn't you, back in
Yeah. hmm
1980? And if we're being honest with each other, I can't imagine how hard that must have been because this guy was obviously you thought a hell of a lot of him. You really cared for the guy from what I understand.
hmm
But you really give him a bit of a pasting, didn't you? You give him a bit
Yeah.
of a beating throughout that fight. But
hmm
Mike Tyson said a similar thing, and I put it through our social channels the other day. How he was a god. He was Muhammad Ali was in another level. He would die in the ring before he quit. And you were the only person to stop him, though, weren't you?
Yeah.
In his career, how? Well, gotta say, that must have been hard. If I was beating up one of my best friends, for that long, how did that affect you? I mean, how was it for you?
It did affect me because I tell you what, you don't want to beat up a guy you
No.
love, guy that worked with you, taught you, helped you. Ali did that with me. He fought in spots, and I hit him, and I told him, I said, don't take no more of these punches. Shut up, man. Shut up. He said, shut up. I said, Ali, you getting hit. You're getting hurt. I said, don't take no more punches. He said, shut up. I'll knock you out. I'm going to knock you out. To the man stop the from Angelo Dundina or Bodine Brown, whoever threw the towel in, they did the right thing because he was taking punches. I wasn't that hitting hard as I can hit because Muhammad Ali, he's my man. I don't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
I want to be there. I get more publicity walking down the street with him than I did fighting him in
Hurting
the
him. Yeah.
and it was an enjoyable time that I had with him.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can't imagine how hard that must have been. And I think that when it comes to boxing, you're almost, especially when you're in the same gym. I mean, I was a fighter a long time ago,
Mhm.
and I see my ex gym mates in the street now, and we're like, oh my god, they're like my brothers. And let's like come here. And even though I haven't seen him for 15, 20 years,
Yeah,
I'm still like, come here. They're like you're like your brothers. So the
yeah,
last thing I'd want to do is punish. I mean, how was it? 15 rounds then, or 12 rounds
yeah. It
with
was 15 rounds.
15 rounds of punishment. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's yeah. I understand that must have not been the nicest thing. Now, for you, for one thing I want to get to, and one thing when I told, the followers through Boxing TV and on social media on Facebook, we've got hundreds of thousands of followers, and when I told them I was speaking to you, everybody said one word: jab, 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 and you've got confident in saying this, the best jab of any fighter of all time in any weight. I would,
Yeah.
if I could make a Frankenstein fighter, I would give him your jab. Put it one way, I
And
really, really would.
you have a winner too. You have a winner too because they can't. They don't know how to block them because they don't see it coming.
Yeah.
But the jab is the key. Was my key. I learned that real well. I learned how to block with it. I learned how to punch with it. I use my jab.
I mean, you said a little bit earlier, didn't you, that you learned the jab from Muhammad Ali, except you did things completely different than Muhammad Ali with your jab. What was this turning point then? Did he kind of say, this is how you throw the jab? Because I'm sure you learned the jab before this. But then did you think, I want to go boom, boom with the jab every time? I mean, what kind of...
No, not boom, boom every time. Now, you slapping. With your open hand, you open your hand like this. It's not, my hand's not closed now. I don't know if you see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
And you whip it out. You hit him with the back of your hand. And that's what makes you bruise. And that's what, give him wear and tear because you're slapping. I'm slapping them. I'm not punching them. I'm slapping them.
Mm-hmm.
Whop, 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 slapping him. And then when you want to try to open them up and cuts and stuff like that, then you close your hand. And then you do it bang, bang.
Right.
And then it opens up. But you slap him so much, he's already going to be bruised. And when you start closing your fist, that's going to make the bruise swell up a little bit.
So he's quite methodical then, what you were doing. I didn't know that. This is why I do this, to be honest with you, Larry. This is literally why. So you'd literally be methodical as in just flick, almost flick. Thing is, you're a big guy though, aren't you? I mean, you're 6'3", are you, if I'm right in thinking?
6'3".
And you slap. That's a hell of a slap.
Slap the jab in the end of the glove. Pow, pow, pow. That's how you do it.
But then when their eye starts, getting bigger or whatever, then it was bang, bang to open the shot, to open the wound up or whatever.
Right. Then the referee sees the swollenness and everything, and then he stops the fight.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that people did that. That's
they don't know. They don't know it. They don't teach that.
Yeah.
They teach that in boxing.
Yeah. And obviously, with you, like I say, with you being such a big guy, that's one hell of a slap, isn't it? It's not exactly a slap. Do you know what I mean? Compared to
it's the left hand with a good right hand on it.
Yeah.
See, when I hit it, it goes like that. Bang bang. You gotta make them go like that. Bang bang. Bang bang.
Awesome.
Bang, bang.
That's
awesome. Then you hit him with the right hand.
So from the slap, you'd hit him with the right hand from
right,
I see.
It'll go like that. Bang bang.
Well, that's what they say, don't they? They say that the shot that hurts is the one you don't see, and obviously if you're going dead hand, the right hand catches them solidly, then that's probably the reason why you're one of the most successful fighters of all time, most likely. That's awesome. Now, I want to talk to you about something. You're almost in this web of what happened, but you stopped Muhammad Ali, and then during that time, Mike Tyson and Customato almost had this plan, if you want to call it that, to dethrone you. Because I think Tyson was only about 14 or 15 years old when you beat Muhammad Ali, if I remember correctly, just from my knowledge through the years. And then he promised Muhammad Ali that he was going to beat you, didn't he? All the way back when.
I don't know that to be true. I don't know that.
That's the way the legend goes.
He was young, too young.
Yeah.
And I had retired when I came back and I fought Mike Tyson. I haven't retired for 2 years. You know what I mean? So how you gonna imagine or see that far ahead? He didn't know.
I suppose as a 14-year-old, I suppose he's got a big imagination, Larry. Maybe that's
all it was. It gets his imagination. He was running around the block trying to get away from that right hand.
So in 1988, you actually fought Mike Tyson. And coincidentally, you were the only one to stop Ali, and then Mike was the only one to stop you, which was as a weird thing. I mean, talk us through that fight.
Well, when I was starting to fight Mike Tyson, I was off for 2 years. I didn't box. I didn't do nothing for 2 years. I just sit back and watch fights on TV, and I worked out. That's all I did. I didn't fight nobody. I didn't hit nobody. Nobody hit me. And Don King came up and said, "Here's $2 million, man. I want you to fight Mike Tyson." I said, "For $2 million?" He said, "No, $3 million." I said, "Don, I can't beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I'm old now. I can't fight. I can't fight now. I retired. But here's $2 million, man. Here's $2 million. So what I'm gonna do? What am I gonna do?
You'd be a bit silly, wouldn't you, not to take that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I took the money, man.
In 1988 as well, Larry. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I was one. I was 1 year old at this stage. That's amazing.
Yeah, I could have gave you the money. You'd have been
any day. So you fought, the biggest punchers, really, in my opinion, ever to walk the planet, pretty much. Earnie Shavers, as I actually rate as the biggest puncher in heavyweight history. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's the question I'm going to ask you in a minute. You fought Mike Tyson, you fought Ken Norton, you fought some big punchers and some, damaging punchers. Of all the people you fought, who was the biggest puncher? Who was the most damaging puncher?
Earnie Shavers was the biggest puncher that I ever fought. He hit me and said, "Good night, Irene."
I remember a shot that he hit you with. I think it was a right hand, if I can't remember. If I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And you went down pretty badly. And I haven't wrote this down. How did you recover from that, Larry?
I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to stay down. If I get up, I'm gonna get some more. I don't want no more. But I got up and I ran from him. And when he got real close to throw the punch, I hugged him and I kissed him and everything. No, I'm not going to take no more punches. Hey, I'm going to hold you. So every time he got to hit me with that right hand he had, I put my arms around him and held him. It's going to be like this all night.
To be honest, I'm not surprised, Larry. I mean, that guy is literally... For me, the biggest heavyweight puncher of all time. I that's my personal thoughts. Now,
what? Let me tell you this real quick. Muhammad Ali fought Earnie Shavers.
Yep.
Ali was okay until he fought Earnie Shavers, and when Earnie started hitting him upside the head, Ali went a little bit like that. And that's what happened to Ali. And I blame Earnie Shavers. I blame Earnie Shavers for it. I shouldn't, but I do anyway. I said, if you didn't hit him like that, he wouldn't have been walking around acting, going punchy a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. So you pretty much, so the Parkinson's and everything that happened there, you think was from maybe the damage that happened from Earnie Shavers?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Sure. He knocked him. Earnie Shavers hit him, but I bet you, man, had him hurt a lot of times, man, in there. And I watched it, studied it.
Yeah.
And he knocked the hell out of Muhammad.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting. I mean, I thought it was the time during his career when he took too many shots, for instance, against George Foreman and things like that. But I never knew that you thought it was from Earnie. I mean, that's really interesting.
Earnie hits you, knock you out. He don't have a problem. Earnie would knock George Foreman out really quick because George like this, Earnie would have knocked him out. So I blamed everything, and I told Earnie, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it, but I said, but you know what, Ali, you did Ali, and you did him like that. But he was okay until he fought Earnie Shavers. Earnie Shavers knocked the hell out of him.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Jay Newman, who's looking, he's a great guy who I've been working with, and he's bringing hopefully to you to the UK at some stage, which is absolutely incredible.
All he had to do is tell me let's. All he had to do is say let's, and I said go.
He's a great guy, great guy. I just want to say, Larry, honestly, just a massive thank you for coming on the show. And, this is really an interview. I speak to the biggest fighters in the world. And for me, this is an interview that I'm going to be telling my grandkids about, which is incredible. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Larry.
If you don't tell your grandkids, I'm going to come over there and get you.
You're going to haunt me.
This year, Brave Faces UK will train 10,000 rounds. That's 28 rounds per day for 365 days to raise awareness of mental health illness. Every day, 12 men take their own life through suicide. That's 84 men a week, more than 4,300 a year. And we need to show those who are fighting a daily battle that we are ready to lace up our gloves and fight with them. Please support Challenge 10,000.